Back again for another video. On today's video, we'll be discussing the things that women don't see, they won't understand. Well, how I come to this conclusion that this is the case is through, once again, my many interactions with women. And I think many of the men here can attest that a lot of the things that men say, women don't understand them in the way that they are being said. They interpret them in their own way because they filter these things through their emotions first. They filter them through their own preconceived notions, sometimes dysfunctions and dramas as well. Therefore, when you explain something to a woman, she is very apt to take it very differently. But the thing about this is why this is a topic for me to discuss in the first place is because this is a hindrance in the way that women should seek leadership and stand by leadership. Because just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that it's not necessarily the right way to go, right? That's the whole reason why you pick a good leader. And a good leader is one who shows proof and improvement in their own lives. How can they expect to lead someone else to a place that they've never been themselves, right? So therefore, a woman should definitely seek a man who has a level of success in his life. And I don't mean monetarily necessarily. A lot of things, like I've said in previous videos, a lot of women look for the superficial things. They equate money with discipline, when in all actuality, a lot of the money in capitalism just happen to be the right place, right time. Right? Everybody's got something to sell. Everybody has a certain level of talent. It's just if your talent or something to sell that you have to offer is worth anything to the public in regards to what is needed or wanted in the market. That dictates how successful you will be most times. Not necessarily saying that your product is crap, but the big names got a big name for a reason. It's because there was a demand for such a thing a lot of times. I'm not saying that, in other instances such as, Chase Bank, who got part of their profits to start with from off of slaves. Those are not the people that I'm talking about. I'm talking about, a lot of other major companies that didn't profit in the way that they did. They actually built it from the ground up. But anyways, you can't expect a woman to pick you as a leader, and a woman shouldn't pick a man as a leader who doesn't have a proof of product, meaning that they have some level of success in their life, and once again, not monetarily. The success I'm talking about is the success of control of self, being able to manipulate themselves in such a way that they can accomplish a goal that they have in mind. Simply discipline, right? Practicing a certain level of discipline. And once again, women equate money to having discipline, but we all know that that is a fallacy to assume such. Compositional, to be exact. Part of the whole represents the whole. No, that's not always the truth. But when it comes to women's selection in men, they oftentimes look at the superficial things that a man has and the man is, rather than who a man is. And this can lead them astray. This is oftentimes the sentiments of what the gynocracy picks in regards to the men that they select. They look at the superficial pleasantries of such a man rather than the internal workings of such a man. And thus they end up with poor relationships. This is a constant cycle of dysfunction that goes on within the Black community. But anyways, in regards to a woman picking a man and a woman following a man, once again, she should pick a man based upon his success, but she should also follow him because of that success, because there is a certain part of his life that she does not understand, not in the way that she can't comprehend it, but in a way that she has not experienced it, because she does not have that same level of success probably in her life. Not to say that she is someone who is unaccomplished, but obviously women pick men for leadership. They pick men to either complement with or to bring them to greener pastures. Nonetheless, it is something that is done out of reverence, right? So with reverence comes trust in ability, trust in that this person deserves respect and honor, right? And At any point in that relationship that a woman chooses not to give respect and honor, she is cheating herself. How, you may ask? Because without her submission, without her respect, without her honor, she is essentially contradicting her own selection. She is contradicting and she is being counterproductive to the direction that this man is going in. Because anytime that a woman represents anything going the opposite way that the man wants to go, she's dead weight. That's simply what it is. Unfortunately for women, they don't understand this because, once again, they filter things through their emotions first. And if it does not validate their emotions, it's almost non-existent to them. This is a downfall in the woman's existence. In the Bible, it says, "Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee." Genesis 3:16. The key point that I want to point out here is that, "and he shall rule over thee." This is God speaking in response to the things that Adam and Eve did in the Garden of Eden. They ate of the apple, or excuse me, I always call it an apple. I want to assume that it's an apple, but they ate of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And this was the punishment to the woman, that, "and he shall rule over thee," meaning that the man shall rule over the woman in all of her ways and all of her doings. This is the consequence of how women exist in this world. There's another point in the Bible that I want to point out too. 1 Timothy 2:11 through 15. "A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. But women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with propriety." There's a point that I want to focus on this set of verses as well. And that's the point where it says that, "And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner." Once again, this is in 1 Timothy 2:11 through 15. But once again, the point that I'm focusing on is 1 Timothy 2:14. "And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner." This is setting up how women should exist and contrary to men. Throughout the Bible, we see many verses like this where the women are made to be under men and the direction of men. And the reason that comes about is that they were the first ones to actually speak to the devil and take the deal. They were the ones beguiled first, right? They were the ones who made the deal with the devil first. It was only Adam who did it after his wife. Well, they weren't married, but it was the one who did it after his own helpmeet. This is the reason why he paid the consequences that he did. All of the things that we're here on earth to do is meant to get back in God's graces, because there were a lot of things that we did previous to this, and that's the reason why we're here. But nonetheless, I'm not here to discuss that topic per se, because once again, a lot of people don't believe in the Bible and the stories. My point here that I'm making is that there is a hierarchy that is in place. And this reason why this hierarchy exists is because this is the way that God intended man and woman to exist. That man must be the head of the woman because of the transgression she did in the Garden of Eden. These are the consequences that are meant to be paid by women. This is not my rule. This is nothing that I made up. This is just the natural consequences of what occurred back then and what women suffer for and what men suffer for. This is all of our consequences nonetheless, that men have to lord over women and women have to submit to their lords. To be honest with you, I often sometimes wish that I am not, how can I put it? And I don't want to make this sound strange, but I often wish that I did not have a level of attraction to anything, meaning that I could focus most of my time on the things that I want to do, meaning that I'm not going to let my biology point me in different directions or turn my head or draw me to a woman. And this is not to say that just because I don't want to be drawn to a woman, I'm going to be drawn to the same sex. No, that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm simply saying is that this level of attraction that we have been given by God is simply the responsibility that is given to us to maintain women. This is the reason why we draw to them. This is the reason why we attract to them. This is the reason why we feel the way we do about them. Given that they are the weaker vessel, they need such a level of caring. They need such a level of leadership and guidance. This is what we're here to do. But the problem of it is that the women are not doing their portion of what they were meant here to do. And this is the reason why they tend to have a lot of chaos in their lives. I've run into a lot of women, and soon as I implemented some changes in their lives became instantly less chaotic. Now, there are some women out there that I've been with before who will definitely disagree with this. But once again, this video is about the things that women can't see. The reason why they can't see the things that they can't see is because they were not given the leadership or authority over themselves. They weren't given authority over themselves. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that a woman has authority over her own body. It doesn't say that. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that a woman has authority over her own self. It says constantly and repetitively that men are to be over women, constantly throughout the Bible. And I once again know that there are a lot of people who necessarily don't believe in this, but look around you. What part of this world does not represent that? I would ask you. Even the building of civilization that I talk about constantly on this channel is a representation of the things that I speak of here now on this video, that men are ahead of women and we are the ones who caretake for women. This is the reason why men built society, is to protect children and women and care for children and women. Men, we understand that we don't need these lavish houses. We don't need these big cars. We don't need these large spaces for us to live. We're just happy with a 1-bedroom place that we can just, kick it at. We spend a lot of our time doing other things that encapsulate us in this environment that is much larger than our physical existence. So we're not necessarily concerned about how big our space is and flaunting and showing off all these things about our wealth and all of our so-called worldly accomplishments. If we break it down to its base level fundamental, most men who brag and who have a showboating mentality, if they're anything short of pimps, then they probably are doing it for women. They're doing it to constantly be in the gaze of women and to constantly show themselves as being a suitable battery pack, right? Something to be used and disposed of. They're not doing it to attract women, to have them become part of their collective and their overall goal in life. They're doing it simply for the women. This is not how we're supposed to exist. But anyways, back to the topic. Women can't see the things that men do because they were not, once again, given the gift or the authority to be in a position to even see those things. When I talk to women a lot of times in regards to them as a submissive and me as an authority, they don't understand what I'm saying or why I'm saying it. It's only until they complete the task and they see the results that they understand exactly why I told them to do what I told them to do. And why it was very important for them to remain submissive, because a lot of pitfalls were missed and they clearly see those things. They clearly see that listening to me and following the leadership elicits a favorable outcome, and it also avoids from problems being created. They can tangibly see these things. For instance, I would tell a woman something like, maybe they got a flat tire or something like that. I would tell them like, okay, take it down to this spot. I know a person or whatever. They'll hook you up, etc. And then have them check your wheel hub. They don't understand these things. This is not because they're not mechanically inclined. They may be mechanically inclined, but the thing is, I'm thinking about these things from authoritative protective state provision, right? I'm thinking about this in a way that it will maximize the outcome that I'm looking for with the minimum work needed. So they go down there, they do exactly what I tell them to do. And the mechanic says, oh yeah, I see why your tire blew out. There was something going on with your wheel hub. Right? It's just shit like that. It's not necessarily to control them. It's not necessarily to have them submit blindly. It's because they trust me. The trust is what gets them what they want. They want to ride in a safe vehicle, and they want to be able to get where they're going efficiently. Listening to me is the best opportunity that they have in order to accomplish such things, if we were to put it in analogy form. And there are plenty of women who can vouch for this, that my timing is impeccable, that I know exactly what to say and when to say it, when to go places, when to not go places. There are many women, once again, who can attest to these things. They can say, yes, he has impeccable timing in regards to getting things done and being at the right place, the right time for the maximum benefit that we can expect. Yes, that's true. But yet and still, I've gotten pushback. Why? Because the underlying dysfunction of women, the underlying reason why they were put to be under men is still prevalent. That nature never went away. That nature is exactly what caused them to be under the necessary leadership of men. It's the nature of thinking that they're greater than everyone else around them. They want to be like gods, as one of us, as the Bible says. That's the reason why they ate the apple, because they want to have omnipotent power and authority. But they were struck down because of their ignorance, and they were put to be subjugated in the way of leadership under men. This is no coincidence, and this will be a repetition throughout history. That there will be constantly things that will happen to women if they do not get into line under a man's leadership. Once again, the trust must be established. It is not the man who must earn the woman's trust. It is the woman who must see that she can trust that man. It is not our duty nor our responsibility to explain things and absorb amounts of information just to get them to go along. They should already inherently understand that this world is a very treacherous place, and that a man is very necessary at damn near every turn of their decisions. Not to say, once again, that women cannot accomplish things on their own, but they can get the maximum benefit with the proper man in leadership. This is all I'm saying. This world has been propped up in society to support, once again, women and children. So there are very much a lot of safeguards that are built specifically for women and children by men. But the problem with this is that women are leaning on those too much, and they're becoming arrogant behind these things. One day these things will go away. That safety net won't be there the next time you jump. We've seen this during the pandemic. I notice in my own personal life, colloquially, around the people that I deal with, that a lot of women just popped up with relationships. It was very interesting to watch. Very much during the pandemic and after, recent times that things have slowed down and transmission of this problem, that I seen these relationships pop up. It was very interesting to watch. I'm sure many of you guys out there can attest to the same thing. This is because women got knocked off the pedestal. They got knocked down because they realized their vulnerabilities and that they needed a man necessarily. Once again, when the house is on fire and there are no services together because everyone's home, sequestering themselves away from others so that they can avoid getting sick, who are you going to call? This isn't going to be the last time anything like this happens. For you as a woman, and this is who I'm speaking to at this point, for you as a woman to lean on the hope that society will continuously run, that's ignorant, because society was not put here necessarily to make sure that everything was going to be all right. It was put here, yes, to safeguard you from calamities and things that were unexpectedly happening. Just the same as children, yes, it was meant to protect you. But the thing of it is that you're forgetting who built this. You're forgetting who was the creator of these things. Yes, it was many men collectively with the same idea in mind. Yes, I get that. But the thing of it is that you have a home. This is your version of society. Who is the protector of that? That's my question. And if you have no man, if you have no leadership, you're going to be left out to the vulnerabilities of the things that can happen within your own home. You think just because society is safe, your house is safe. And I don't mean that in such a way that doesn't mean like somebody's going to run up in it or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. Is that you can't see the devil in the corner. You can't see the temptation that is constantly telling you that you can be greater than the man that came before you, the God that came before you. You don't see that. Once again, I ask people all the time, where was Adam when Eve was talking to the devil? That was the problem in the first place. There was no man present in regards to keeping a woman in check. So when there's no man present in your life, because you don't trust, because you don't see the value in men, so much so that you lean on your pride, you lean on the false security of society, that you don't think you need a man, right? When that devil comes, who's going to save you? But anyways, like, comment, and share. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Patreon. But until next time, this has been a Wolf in Better Clothes. May you have a good day. And of course, you know it. You know what I'm going to say. You know it. May you have a good day. And of course, peace be with you.